Hello everyone, welcome back. The gun that I want to be talking about today is the SIG 2022, okay? This is a double action, single action gun, and I believe it's used by the French, either military or police or both, some combination. So it does get some military and police use. Now, they are French, so depending on how you feel about the French, that could be a good or bad reflection on this gun. So I'm going to not say anything about that. I'll let you guys decide. But it is a double action, single action gun. One of the good things I like about this gun, first of all, I do like single action, double action, so that's a big plus for me. I like that style. The other thing that I really like about this gun is that I like the way its trigger feels. It's got a very smooth trigger in both double action and single action form. The trigger is not too heavy. It's very consistent. In single action mode, it's very smooth. Okay, come all the way back, and it just has a very smooth feel to it. That's how I describe the way that this trigger feels. Okay, so that's what I like about this gun. I like the way it shoots. I like the way the trigger feels. I like the way it fits in my hands. I like the way SIGs feel in my hands. They feel a lot more comfortable than Glocks to me, although I shoot Glocks very often, and I mostly train. Glocks are usually my starter gun for training people, just because those guns are so durable. And like my Glock 17 has 70,000 rounds through it, so I generally use guns that I know won't break. Okay, this gun over here, it's got about 2,000 rounds through it. Okay, the first negative about this gun is with about 2,000 rounds. Basically, I had a problem with the hammer. Basically, the gun would often shoot double action only. Okay, so the hammer would not reset to the single action position consistently. Sometimes it would, sometimes it wouldn't. So basically, I sent the gun into SIG for a free repair. Okay, and they sent me back a paper with the gun that says that they replaced the hammer box. Okay, now I don't know if that's unique to this one specific gun that I have, or if this is a general problem that they have with SIG 2022s. And for that, I'll tell you guys to go out there and look at other video reviews. Pay attention to videos of guys that shoot this gun that have high round counts. Okay, if somebody's got only 500 rounds to the gun and they tell you that the gun works great, I mean, I really wouldn't pay attention to that aspect too much. I mean, they may have other good things to say or other important things to say, but that's not a good measure of reliability. Okay, look for videos that have high round counts, preferably closer to 5,000 and more. Okay, so that was my issue with this gun. The hammer box broke within 2,000 rounds, and it had to be replaced. Okay, another thing that I really don't love about the gun is that the slide wiggles a little bit. Okay, it doesn't affect its accuracy or anything, and this I have found from looking at other videos that this is basically part of the design of the gun. The slide does wiggle a little bit. I just don't like it. I mean, my other guns are a lot tighter in that area. If that was the only issue, I really wouldn't care. But that's something that I think they could have made a little bit tighter. The other thing with this gun is, basically this gun is primarily a right-handed gun. Now the slide lock is on the right side, and that's pretty common for guns to have the slide lock on the right side because, even if you're a lefty, you can always use the slide to put the gun back, back at the battery. Okay. The issue is that if you want to decock the gun, okay, as a righty, basically you just use your thumb, okay, the way it was meant to be used. As a lefty, you have to use your index finger. Okay. So basically, you got to pull your index finger all the way back here. And basically, you're loosening up your fingers here. So to me, that creates a situation where it's easier to drop the gun. Okay, so that's. I mean, I do like this SIG design. I do like the way that lever feels over there if I'm shooting it righty. However, I do a lot of lefty shooting as well, especially if I'm coming around the left side of a barricade. I like to put the gun on the left side. Okay, and if I also train shooting left-handed, so it makes the gun a little more difficult to operate. I did have one guy that I was training on the other side of PA, and he was a lefty, and I put most of the 2,000 rounds that I ran through this gun, I did it with that guy, and he got pretty proficient with operating this gun as a lefty. So you can do it. It just takes more training, okay? A little bit more practice, okay? But that's one of the things to be aware of. If you're a lefty, it's going to take a little bit more work to operate the decocker, okay? And this gun is, basically it's meant to be carried, once, basically you chamber your round, and basically you decock the gun and then you holster it, okay? So basically hammer down when the gun goes into the holster. What else is there to say about this gun? Basically, this gun is a cheaper version of the SIG 226, which the Navy SEALs are known for using, okay? So this is a cheaper version of that gun. Currently, that gun comes in somewhere around $1,000 or $1,100, okay? This gun right now comes in somewhere around $500, $550. Okay, when I bought this gun about 5 years ago, I paid close to $700 for this gun. Okay, so basically it was a little expensive back then. Prices have come down. So basically this is now about a $500 gun. If I had it to do over again, okay, I probably would buy the SIG 226. Okay, I probably would pay the extra money and buy that gun. I'm sure that gun probably won't have the hammer box issues that this gun had. Okay, given that I have this gun now, it doesn't make any sense for me to go and buy that gun. All right, because basically the two guns are too similar for me to go out and buy that gun. Okay, so basically I'm staying with this gun. And I'm not big. I really don't believe in selling guns and trading guns in too much, because basically you lose a lot of money when you try to trade in a gun or sell a gun. So the only time I really sell guns if they just suck and I need to get rid of it. Okay, so if it's a really bad gun, I'll sell it. If it's a gun that I can work with, I generally keep it. Okay, so this gun is, like I said, it's a cheaper version of the SIG 226. It works pretty good. If your goal is to go and buy a SIG 226 and basically you come to somebody like me, I mean, I could train you on this gun, and then later on when you buy your SIG 226, I mean, the controls will be very similar, and the gun's going to shoot very similar. So this is a good training gun if that's where you want to go. Now, as far as buying the SIG 226, okay, which I have never shot, okay, I'll say that I've never shot that gun. I just haven't had the opportunity. It just never came up to any range I was at or anybody I was working with and training with. They didn't have that gun, so I've never shot that gun. But here's the thing: that the SIG 226 is supposed to be comparable to the Glock 17, okay? And the issue is that the SIG 226 is about $1,000. Glock 17 is about $500. So you're paying twice the money for the SIG. So to me, it's like, what am I really getting out of that? Okay. Other than I do like the single action, double action. Okay, so that's really the only thing I'd be getting out of it. So I do like it. The question becomes, do I really want to pay the extra $500 for it? And do I have other options? Okay, because if I like double action, single action, I can, I have my Beretta PX4. Okay, which I paid about $500 for that. $550, somewhere around there. I think it was $500. And now that's in the same price, pretty much the same price as a Glock 17. And again, it's half the price of the SIG 226. Okay, so that's something for you guys to weigh out. As far as which way you want to go, as price wise and as far as economics. Okay, so there are my thoughts on the SIG 2022. Okay, one other thing I want to add that I think is important. I bought this gun in a 40 caliber. Okay, so this is a 40 caliber and has a capacity of 12 rounds. Something worth mentioning. It's not, basically, I don't think they make too many cheap magazines, cheap copy clone magazines. Okay, so basically these are like $30, $35 magazines. And, like with Glocks, you buy, like, for example, like, the Korean magazines, they cost some like $10. And basically, you can throw them on the ground and not care if they break because they only $10. Okay, with these $35 magazines, you're not going to throw them on the ground. With this, when you train, you're going to put them in your pocket. Okay, so I don't know if at this point they're making any cheap magazines for these guns, or if Pro Mag or any of these companies are making them, or hopefully the Koreans will make them at one point. But you cannot buy really cheap magazines for this gun. And to me, that's a very useful tool. I want to be able to just drop the magazines, especially if I'm training in the woods out there. I want to be able to drop the magazines, keep shooting, and you know what? if the magazine gets lost, who the hell cares? It's only $10. It's the same price as a box of ammo. Okay, so there are my thoughts on that. The other thing I'd like to mention is, since this is a 40 caliber, which I don't shoot too often. Okay, most of the people I train with 9mm. Very rarely do I get people that nowadays that want to shoot 40s or 45s or whatever. So most of the people I'm training these days are shooting 9s. I did buy this in a 40 because at the time that I was buying this gun, there was an ammo shortage at the time, one of the very first ones, and I could not find 9mm, but 40s were easily found. I could find 40s more easily, and I said, you know what? Let me get the gun in 40 because I'm going to be able to find ammunition for the gun more easily these days. Okay, so that's why for a while I was buying 40s. Okay, but nowadays there's 9mm everywhere to be found, so that's not an issue. So the point is that I would like to shoot this gun more often. I would like to convert this gun to a 9mm, and I called up SIG, and what they basically told me is that basically you got to change the whole barrel, the whole slide, the whole upper part of the gun, and that's going to cost $500. Okay, so which makes no sense because the whole gun more or less costs $500. And to me that's bad for SIG. Okay, because here they are. They got nowadays they're pushing the SIG 320. Okay, and the whole concept behind that gun is that basically the main part of the gun is the chassis, and you can basically change the grips out. You can change the barrels and slides, and you can convert it to different calibers. But here's the thing: if they're going to be charging me $500 every time I want to modify the gun, I mean that's pointless. I mean I'll just go buy a brand new gun. Okay. So to me, charging that amount of money basically defeats the purpose, defeats the value of having modular guns. Okay, paying, I certainly am not going to pay $500 to convert this to a 9mm. I'm just going to keep it in 40 and basically occasionally shoot it. And occasionally, if somebody's interested in shooting a 40, I'll occasionally, have them shoot it, and that's fine with me. But I think that SIG is hurting themselves in the long run by making the conversions so expensive. Okay, in my opinion, converting this gun to from a 40 to a 9mm should not cost more than $100. Okay, at best $150. Okay, if you start going towards 200, now you're pushing it. Okay, because at that point I have other options. I can go buy, I can pay a little bit more and buy a new gun. So. There are my thoughts on SIGs, and I really hope that they change their philosophy as far as what they charge for, for conversions down the road. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.